We welcome you back to a sold-out Pan American Center in Las Cruces, New Mexico. Adam Young and Coach Brad Bird with you. NM State trying to stay perfect in league play. Grand Canyon looking for a very big WAC win here tonight. NM State 21-3, and a big reason why is that man Chris Giant in his first year as the head coach of New Mexico State. Assistant stint at Wichita State, has been a head coach 1 year at Bowling Green, doing a phenomenal job as Aggies have won 15 of the previous 16, and they have been dominant in this building once again. The Aggies 11-1 at home this season. Same starting five for Chris Giants. He will go with Jamario Jones, Jonathan Wilkins, A.J. Harris, Sidney Endear, and Zach Lofton. Lofton second in the WAC in scoring. He's averaging 20 per game. He scored 29 against Grand Canyon in the first meeting this year. And Jamario Jones has posted back-to-back games with 20 rebounds. On the bench for Grand Canyon, Dan Marley. Spent 14 years in the NBA. He is in his 5th year as the head coach of Grand Canyon. He knows Phoenix very well. He played for the Phoenix Suns for 8 seasons. He was a 3-time NBA All-Star, and he's done a very good job with his GCU program. 22 wins last season. 2 years ago, 27 wins, and the Lopes are 17-8 in the 5th year for Dan Marley. And his lineup is very experienced. Josh Braun is a redshirt senior who's been the WAC preseason player of the year each of the last 2 years. Casey Benson is a transfer from Oregon. Keontae Verdon's averaging 9 and 7. Oscar Freyer and the very talented freshman Alessandro Lever round out the GCU starters. Lever is averaging 10 per game in his first year collegiately. Here's a look at the series history. This is the 11th all-time meeting. The Aggies have won 8 of the 10. The Aggies won by 11 earlier this year in Phoenix. Grand Canyon only posted 22 points in the second half. Zach Lofton scored 29, and the Aggies had a plus 25 rebound margin in the first meeting in January in Phoenix. Coach Brad Bird, what an atmosphere. Give us your keys to the game.
Well, first, the important thing is going to be to defend the high-low. It's sort of a classic play where one big player gets the ball at the top of the key, looks inside for the other big player. But in Grand Canyon's case, the big guys can shoot the three as well. And that makes it doubly difficult to guard. The Aggies are going to have to get back on defense as they did last game. Don't give up any fast break baskets. And finally, now Josh Braun hasn't played great in the last couple games, but he is a great player. And he can explode at any time. The Aggies are going to have to shut him down.
Grand Canyon coming off a really tough loss on Thursday at UTRGV. 83-81 was the final, but they have won 6 of their previous 8. Right now they're in 3rd in the WAC, right behind Utah Valley, and Grand Canyon trails the Aggies by 2.5 in the WAC standings. For the Aggies, they continue to roll on Thursday. A 26-point win against Bakersfield. 69-43 was the final. The Aggies shot a lot of threes in that one. On Thursday, Coach, 39 threes attempted, the most in Pan Am Center history. We should expect a much smaller number tonight.
I think so, but it won't shock me if Grand Canyon puts up a bunch of threes. They seem to, their coach Dan Marley seems to have great confidence in his players' ability to shoot. They shoot a lot of threes. They've shot almost 200 three-pointers more attempts than their opponents, and so clearly has confidence in just about everybody on the team to shoot a three.
This is a sold-out Pan American Center. 12,575 is the capacity. And as of yesterday afternoon, it was the highest revenue game in 18 years at New Mexico State. It's sold out this afternoon. There was a line to get in at 6 p.m. tonight. GCU has some fans making the trip, and the Aggie student section is as good as it has been all year. Freyer and Wilkins will tip this one up. And we are underway for what should be a great one tonight. Lopes in the purple, Aggies in the home whites. This is Oscar Freyer, and he rims in the deep 2. NM State averaging 78 points per game in conference, which is first in the WAC. A plus 22 scoring margin in conference games for Chris Giants' team. City India working on Josh Braun. Step back two is shallow. Tipped around and tipped in by Jamario Jones.
Well, no surprise that Jamario Jones is on the offensive glass. That was awful close to being in the cylinder. I think he timed it just right.
Jamario with back-to-back 20 rebound games. A three from the wing for Braun, and he drills it.
Well, that's what we feared. You know, he hasn't played well the last 2 or 3 games, but he always plays well here in Las Cruces, it seems.
Braun did not make a field goal on Thursday at UT-RGB, so his first field goal on his road swing. A floater for Jones. He has all 4 for the Aggies.
And here's maybe the most interesting player for Grand Canyon this year, Casey Benson with the ball, who started for Oregon for a few years.
Deontay Vernon on the drive, and he'll shoot 2. Benson, coach, played in a Final Four at Oregon, and he graduated, you're going to love this, in 3 years at Oregon, which made him eligible right away when he transferred.
I'd love it more if he'd majored in English when he was at New Mexico State. But yes, no, it's impressive. And he's not going to, as intimidating as this atmosphere at the Pan Am Center can be with a sold-out crowd, that's one Grand Canyon player who won't be the least bit phased.
Vernon only shoots 57% from the free throw line this year. He's almost averaging a double-double, though. 9.7 rebounds per game, a senior from California. And he misses both. Early stages here in Las Cruces, a minute and a half in. Here's Lofton, who's averaging 20 per game, had 29 in the first meeting. The Aggies allow for Lofton, intercepted by Braun. Here comes Benson. Casey Benson rises and fires. That's way off. Braun gets the miss, and Jones cleans it up. 3-on-2 for NM State. Shuffle to Lofton. Extra pass for Harris to the rim, and he lays it in.
Well, really unselfish play by Zach Lofton, who clearly had the shot, but A.J. Harris had a better one. And if you want to talk about the atmosphere, you know, there's got to be 1,000 purple shirts here tonight, too. It's quite a Grand Canyon crowd that's followed these guys over from Phoenix.
Quite the officiating crew as well. Our 3 officials, Rick Hartzell, Casey McClellan, and Rick Randall tonight. Veteran crew. A.J. Harris, single digits in 7 straight.
And one other interesting Grand Canyon fact, Adam, I don't know if you knew this, their college president, Brian Mueller, was a college basketball assistant coach for a few years at Mesa Junior College, one of maybe the top junior college program in the West for many years. So it's an unusual school in that they've got a president who coached college basketball.
What a great start for Jamario Jones. The Aggies have made 4 straight shots. Vernon to Braun, a sidestep 3. Missed it right left. Another rebound for the 6'5 Jones. To Harris for 3. And we'll stay here. The foul is called on Braun on the box out.
Well, at the other end, Jamario Jones got out jumped at the other end, but he still was able to manage to tip the ball and get his hand. Jamario is just so smart around the basket and such a crafty player. And the other thing that he does, a guy who rebounds that well, he can come down with the rebound and then lead the fast break.
Lofton off the mark, and here come the Lopes. 3 minutes in. Great start for both teams. The Aggies by 3. Laver can shoot the 3. That one spins off. Jones almost had his 4th rebound. Braun ripped it away.
Well,
somebody's wide open.
Yeah, somebody's going to have to get closer to Josh Braun.
Jones posting up Benson. Jamario very creative. Stays patient. Wilkins the old board. Jones cut and he finger-rolled it in.
Well, it's been like the Jamario Jones show up to this point for the Aggies. But I don't think they can leave Josh Braun open for very long and not pay for it.
Laver and Wilkins were battling down low, and the foul is called on Jonathan Wilkins. The Aggies coach had some foul trouble In the front court on Thursday, you had Chua, who fouled out, only played 12 minutes. And McCants also had some foul issues on Thursday. And Chua comes in here, so does Johnny McCants. Eli Chua was really productive in his 12 minutes, though, off the bench on Thursday. A lot of shots early for Braun. He's now 1 of 5 shooting. Vernon was down the Aggies with a 5-on-4. Vernon late to get back. To the rim is Lofton.
Great body control, really terrific heads-up play by Zach Lofton, who saw looking to pass, but saw the opening and went all the way.
Harris all over Benson. 2 Power 5 transfers going at it. Benson from Oregon, Harris from Ohio State. What a move by the freshman, Alessandro Lever.
This is what makes Grand Canyon so hard to guard, is that their big guys are pretty versatile, and if you go help out too long, you're going to leave a pretty good three-point shooter open at the perimeter.
Lofton working on Freyer. Fadeaway jumper. Shield was pushed by Lever. And that will take us to a media. Jamario Jones with 8 points, 4 rebounds. One of the best undersized big men in the country. Sold out crowd in.
It would be great if human beings were great at
with 8 points, 4 rebounds. One of the best undersized big men in the country. Sold out crowd in. What a crowd tonight here at the P&M Center. 12-7 New Mexico State, 15-17 left here in the 11th all-time meeting between the Aggies and the Lopes. It's been a little bit of a rivalry developing, and NM State head coach Chris Jantz talked about that earlier this week at his press conference.
With us being fairly close to them and them having the fan base that they have and the home court advantage that they have, and certainly Coach Marley as their head coach brings some extra pizzazz, if you will, to their program, and so they were picked to win the league, and they're an awfully good basketball team.
Here's a look at the stat comparison. NM State and Grand Canyon both very good rebounding teams, but so far in this game, the Aggies are +9, coach, in rebound margin.
Well, that stats jumps out at me, and also the Grand Canyon's 1 for 6 after 5 minutes from the three-point line. They nailed A.J. Harris for traveling, but I do wonder, they seem to be living and dying with the three all season, and I think it's risky. It's a risky philosophy, it seems to me, at this, especially tonight.
Points in the paint so far, Aggies 12, Lopes 2. Vernon on the tip, and he's fouled by Johnny McCants. They'll count it and 1 for Keontae Vernon. Grand Canyon the last couple of years, coach, they've had some undersized big men. Randy Glaze comes to mind, and Keontae Vernon, 6'6", 242, but still scores and still rebounds well. And he's 0-3 now in free throws. Joe Garza, an early entry for the Aggies off the bench, a local product from Las Cruces, and he catches here at the head of the key. Here's Garza to Endier. 4 to shoot for City.
Well, he had a clear path to the basket, just couldn't get it in.
Oscar Freyer, a big guard at 6'7", 191, and he cans the triple.
Boy, he sure looked good shooting that.
It's tough to guard when you're trying to guard a guard that's 6'7", and he has some good rise to his jumper as well. We'll stay here. The foul is called on Vernon. Some good matchups down low so far between Chua and Vernon, Lever earlier, and Johnny McCants and Vernon as well. We know both teams have really, really good guards. I'm interested to see how the front court is handled.
Yeah, and there we see Oscar Freyer. Boy, he can really elevate. He's just a sophomore. He's really an impressive prospect.
7-0 run for Grand Canyon. Zach Lofton back in for NM State. And he's guarded right here by Freyer. So Dan Marley going with a length on Lofton. Chua for three. And then Johnny McCants picks up a foul that you just can't pick up.
Well, the Aggies are used to sort of having their way on the boards, and sort of dominating the boards. And it is an 11-2 rebound edge for the Aggies, but they're going to have to be careful. They're going to have a whole team full of big guys in foul trouble.
A lot of subs early for NM State. Sean Buchanan now in for the first time. He's guarding Benson, who receives the handoff here. The Oregon transfer to Braun. Garza guarding Braun. Turnaround jumper, Vernon, not his shot. Pulled in by Lofton. Lofton on the move. He's blocked away by Laver.
Boy, Laver doesn't look like a freshman, does he?
No, he doesn't. On the roll, here's Vernon. Tipped around to Freyer. Now to Benson for three. Deadlocked at 12, bodies flying everywhere. This one's on McCants. It's number 2 on Johnny.
Well, I think it is a concern for the Aggies. They've got. Let's see if we can see what Johnny McCants did. Well, I think he's got a call. I think that has to be called. Just because you've got your hands in the air. What do you think?
I think part of it was Vernon kind of baited him into it.
Yes,
Vernon was just standing there.
Yeah, I don't think McCants was looking where he was going. An interesting call because it didn't have much to do with the play or the action. Wasn't anywhere near the ball, but McCants just daydreaming a little bit. Vernon sort of caught him napping.
High low to Braun, who was posting up Garza. Snatched in by Chua. Aggies haven't scored in 3 minutes plus. Lofton in transition. Thought about that one.
Might he shoot that? He might, I suppose.
Jamario Jones in the reverse. That was blocked by Vernon. And it will stay with NM State. That call made by veteran official Rick Hartzell, who we'll talk about a lot tonight. He's officiating in his final year.
And Jamario Jones just couldn't get it to go down. He sort of snuck around like he always does.
NM State has missed 4 straight shots. Low post feed to Chua. A little short, and Vernon's there. Laver with a triple. And it's really, really physical down low. NM State called for another. You'd expect it. 2 of the top 3 teams in the conference going at it. We're tied at 12. We need those earmuffs tonight. It is loud here in the Pan American Center, especially if you're a youngster. 12-12, really good defense so far. The Aggies are scoreless in the previous 4 minutes. They're 6 of 17 shooting. Grand Canyon 5 of 17. And we should expect this. Right now, the Aggies, the 4th best defensive team in the country. Grand Canyon not far behind. They're the 14th best, only allowing 64 per game. And check out this right here for New Mexico State. Defense and rebounding. Chris Drian said at his introductory press conference before the season, he said, we will be known for defense and rebounding, and that's holding true.
Imagine that. It wasn't just a campaign promise. It was, it's been very true. What concerns me now for the Aggies tonight is they could have a slew of big guys in foul trouble.
Right now for the Aggies, Johnny McCants has 2. He's the only one who has more than 1. Nobody for Grand Canyon with more than 1 so far. Roberts Blumberg, the big freshman from Latvia, on the wing. Now to Freyer, who's already made 1 3. Make it 2 from Oscar Freyer, 31% for the year. And he cans another.
Well, it's his 3rd basket of the game as well.
Chua for Harris. Look at Frayer skying high in the air for the board.
Boy, he may be the most explosive leaper we've seen this year.
Blumbergs can shoot it from 3, so the Aggies have to pay attention to him. And Laver has good range, a 19-footer for the big man from Italy. There's Chua and one.
And watch it. This is what makes Chua so dangerous is he can use either hand. He can go either way and use either hand, and there's not many big guys that can do that. Laver didn't think it was much of a foul. Maybe it's not a foul in Italy. I don't know. No, but he's very impressive, Alessandro Laver for a freshman.
And now he has 2 personals. The Aggies break a scoreless drought of 5 minutes. Benson to Frayer. Sankare, who just checked in, applies the screen. Frayer with his 3rd made 3.
Oscar Frayer, and those aren't set shots either. He's 2 or 3 feet off the ground on those.
Chua on the roll, and he slams it in.
Well, somebody's going to have to find Oscar Frayer.
Frayer, coach, only averages 9 per game. He already has 11. He has over half of Grand Canyon's points so far.
When he's going right at Zach Lofton, who did such a great job on Thursday night against their leading scorer.
City Endier stepped in front. Harris will attack. Jones bumped into Chua. 2 guys went for it. Lofton for 3. Not many shots so far for Zach. He's 1 of 4 from the field. Fifi Adu took it away. Adu has a 2-on-1. Euro step for Adu, and he missed it point blank. Tip wasn't there for Sankare.
Huge break for New Mexico State there. That should have been a basket for Grand Canyon.
That was a pass from Jones. It'll count as a rebound for Chua. A little sloppy here. Endier runs it down, and he stays in the front court.
It's like a pinball game here, Atari game. What's the latest game? I'm aging myself, dating myself.
How about Pac-Man? Huh?
Okay, sorry, Pac-Man's good enough.
Harris for Jones. And that is not the shot New Mexico State wants. Demario Jones, 8 of 60 from 3 in his career.
Yeah, and Eli Chua getting an over-the-back foul on an air ball. Just wasn't nice pass there by A.J. Harris, but was not the shot probably the Aggies needed at that point. So Eli Chua goes back to the bench with 2 fouls.
One and one for Blumbergs, the freshman from Latvia, 6'10", 220. Grand Canyon really struggling on free throws. 0 of 4 now from the line. Harris sets up the Aggie offense. Jones there for the ball screen. Slithering around defenders is Harris with his offhand. The tip goes for Demario Jones again.
Well, that's more what he does better than launch threes.
10 points and 7 rebounds for the senior from Memphis. Here's a freshman, Damari Milstead, and the Lopes are on fire from 3.
Well, that's surprising. A freshman comes in the game, first time he touches the ball, he shoots a 3, but it's indicative of the confidence Dan Marley has in these guys.
Grand Canyon will let Jones shoot it. With the left hand, Wilkins tip no good. Rebound for Blumberg's the freshman. Adu throws it away. Tipped by Jones, caught by Harris. Lead pass Lofton, blocked away by Adu. Wow.
What an athlete. Not many people are going up on Zach Lofton like that.
We have some leapers tonight. How about Adu and Freyer for Grand Canyon? Jones, Lofton, and the Aggie bunch. A good one tonight. Been a defensive effort so far. 39% shooting for Grand Canyon. 31% shooting for NM State. A great crowd tonight. A sold-out crowd here at the Pan Am Center. Lopes lead by 4, and so far it's been a quiet go of it for Josh Braun. He only has 3 points on 1 of 6 shooting, and here you see when Braun's good, that usually means Grand Canyon's good.
Well, that's right, and I'll say one thing, like so many great players, he didn't come out hesitant tonight. He hasn't shot well again tonight, but it's not because he's afraid to put one up. He's got tremendous confidence, and I think it goes back again. It goes back to the bench, to Dan Marley. As tough as he was and hard-nosed as a player, I think he's very much a player's coach. The players seem to like playing for him, and he gives them their confidence.
And this one is physical, and it's called tights. It goes on Son Carre. He's having to play some minutes with foul trouble in the interior for Grand Canyon. Lever picked up 2 early. McCants also has 2 for the Aggies. Harris triggers in for NM State. Lofton was twisted around, and 5 seconds is called on A.J. Harris.
Well, not the kind of turnover that Chris Jans wants to see, but you'd rather see that than throwing the ball away, I suppose.
7 and change left, first half. 23-19, Grand Canyon has the lead. Third place Lopes, first place Aggies tonight. Jones the rebound, but first a foul was called, and
it's just unbelievable. He's not going up to get the rebound. He's going sideways to get the rebound.
And this one goes on Grand Canyon, so now the Aggies will shoot free throws.
Watch Jamario Jones jump sideways for the ball. It's just really remarkable.
I feel like Jamario's starting to get a little more attention nationally because of the numbers he's putting up. He's averaging 12 rebounds a game, but
well, nothing does it more than being on a winning team as well.
That's true as well. And if the Aggies make the NCAA tournament and make a run, everybody will know who Jamario Jones is. It's really hard, Coach, to describe his game because he's 6'5", 170, doesn't shoot it well, but really crafty and just an extremely talented rebounder. One of the best you'll ever see.
That's right. And one of the things I'm starting to notice is how he'll rebound, and he doesn't need to outlet pass like most big guys. He's up to half court with the ball off the dribble within a second or two.
I feel like Chris Jans has put it best. He always says that Jones is Rodman-esque, just like Dennis Rodman. Moving screen on Grand Canyon.
And that's something we've seen get called closer this year.
NM State has missed 8 of their previous 9 shots. It seems like Grand Canyon's trying to trap Lofton on the arc on ball screens. Jones posting up the much larger Blumberg. Still scores anyway.
There's no way that shot's supposed to go in. But he'd faked the Latvian player out so badly. I think he was a little bit surprised to, how can I get this one in the basket?
He's having fun too. He's giggling out there.
He's still down by 1, so you don't want to giggle too much.
Here's Freyer, a 28% career three-point shooter. He's 3 of 3 tonight. And now he gets a putback. 13 for this sophomore from Oakland.
Well, this is the first time all year that I've seen Zach Lofton. We've talked about what a great pro prospect he could be. It's the first time all year I've seen him get beat at the defensive end this consistently. Maybe he just didn't expect much from Freyer, but he should be awake now.
Second turnover on A.J. Harris. The Aggies have committed 7. Johnny McCants will come in for Jamario Jones. McCants has to be careful. He has 2. We haven't seen Wilkins a ton or Chua a ton. Wilkins and now Chua still on the bench. Vernon finds himself wide open on the receiving end from Blumbergs.
Well, Grand Canyon did there what Indiana did when, if I can date myself again, what Indiana did when they had Isaiah Thomas.
Andy on the spin, running left-hander for City.
But the inbounder, Josh Brown, inbounded the ball and then ran right down the middle to get the ball back, and it turned into an instant fast break. That was a long time ago that Isaiah did that for Indiana, but it got everyone's attention.
The freshman Milstead with a teardrop, not a good shot. Ahead for A.J. Harris. Harris, Wilkins, Endier, McCanton, Lofton for the Aggies. Lofton checked by the freshman Milstead. Crosses his over. Fades away, and it's an air ball for Lofton. 1 of 7 for the field. Freer goes right after McCants, and Johnny clears it away. Harris down the lane, but first a hand check on Milstead. It will not count. A lot of fouls here in the first half. That's number 9 on Grand Canyon, already 7 on NM State. I feel like it's been good physical though, Coach. I mean, these two teams are battling out here.
No, I know that there seems to be a good. It's a good atmosphere. There's no cheap shots or anything like that. It's just good hard basketball, and of course everybody's amped by the sellout crowd. Even both the announcers.
Yes, sir. Harris, a 54% free throw shooter. As of yesterday, this was the highest revenue game at the Pan-Am Center in 18 years. Sold out crowd, 12,575 is the capacity here. Harris good on both. Buchanan comes in for AJ.
Go, Zach. Tough D, baby. Come on.
Benson backdoor for Vernon, and I guess he caught Wilkins not looking.
Well, it's the second time they've run a backdoor play for Vernon. First time they've converted on it.
At first, Coach, I thought it was just Lofton who Grand Canyon would trap on the arc, but they're trapping Buchanan as well. On these ball screens, they're seeing a really high hedge by the big man. And this is what happens when you play a team twice in a year. You'll see different philosophies in game 2. Vernon on the pull-up. Deep 2 for the big man.
Well, now Vernon has the Tulare, California. You know, there's a Merle Haggard song about Tulare. Adam, did you know? But he's got his confidence now.
Buchanan shoots it over Benson. Cleared away by Freer, who is skying high in the air again. Benson finds a really good shooter, Jared Martin for 3. Lofton open in transition. And he's really struggling from the field. Lofton 1 of 8. And he was only 4 of 15 on Thursday.
No, and that's a tough one, to dribble down and shoot the 3. It can be discouraging for your teammates if you miss.
Benson with his offhand, pretty move by the Oregon transfer, Casey Benson. And a timeout is called by Chris Jans, and this will turn into the media. Grand Canyon loves it. They traveled well from Phoenix. They lead by 7 here in Las Cruces. Great crowd tonight, Pan-Am Center in Las Cruces. Grand Canyon by 7 here in the early stages. 3:09 left, first half action. NM State just outside the top 25 right now. The Aggies receiving votes in the AP poll, 23 votes in this week's poll. NM State coach has not been ranked since January 23rd, 1995, which was your first season on the bench as an assistant.
It was a miracle. There was a very good Aggie team with Rodney Walker, Thomas Wyatt, Keith Johnson, a very good team. It was an Aggie team that beat Memphis and beat Alabama, won at USC, and a very good Aggie team.
You're on camera right now too, Coach.
Geez,
Look at this.
Again, well,
I love it.
I don't know how much I had to do with that Aggie team, but there was a lot of fun to coach and a lot of fun to watch.
Some great wins that year. First year on the bench for Russ Bradford as we get back to action here at the P&M Center. Good stuff. Got to coach alongside a legend, Lou Henson. Lou may be watching tonight. You never know. Mario Jones with the mid-range jumper. Benson's right there for Grand Canyon.
I should add, Adam, that was a Neil McCarthy coach team. Lou,
Okay.
Lou wasn't there yet. But it was a really fun team to watch. It was an exciting year.
Stolen away, Keon Jones. Behind his back, now a three. Could he be the spark off the bench? We'll see.
Well, that's exactly what the Aggies need. Someone's going to have to step up now and get things going for the Aggies.
First made three for the Aggies, or 8 attempts. Braun looking for the answer. That's an air ball. He's been off, and he's been off for the majority of this season.
Well, I'm sort of sorry to see it. He's been such a great competitor in the WAC, and it's indicative of Dan Marley's, as tough and rugged as he was as a player. I'm sure he wants his players to have their confidence, and no one's telling Josh Braun to stop shooting.
Braun 2 years ago, 17 per game, 17 and a half per game last year. Only averaging 13 per game this year. Lofton will head to the line to shoot 2.
Oscar Fryer finally made a mistake, by the way. I just feel like it's worth noting because he's done so many great things tonight. He sort of got the ball, gave up a little too much defensively. And again, he's just been sensational. Oscar Fryer has just been unbelievable tonight. He's already got 13 points and 6 rebounds. It's not even halftime.
Lofton had been 36 of 40 on free throws in his previous 7. This is both. Offensive rebound, Wilkins. Harris looking for Jones, taken away. I will say this, Lofton doesn't appear to be fazed by his struggles with the shot so far.
No, like Josh Braun, he's going to keep shooting it. But I like Chris Jans' impulse there as we look at Jamario Jones. I like Chris Jans' impulse is let's get the ball inside to Lofton and see if we can get him to the free throw line. And so they do, and he misses both free throws.
Dan Marley has to be happy. His team off to a good start tonight on the road, looking for a really big win. They really haven't played here well, ever. They beat the Aggies last year in Phoenix, but they've really struggled here at the P&M Center. Vernon wins in the free throw. And Grand Canyon, first year of eligibility now at Division I, so they can play in the postseason. They will be at the Orleans Arena in Vegas in March, and they were the preseason favorites in the WAC this year. Haven't lived up to it so far, but still plenty of time left.
So far is the key phrase there. This is a team that could win in Las Vegas. At least based on what we've seen tonight, huh?
Grand Canyon up 6. Landier stops and starts. Keon Jones to Harris. Shamario Jones looking for a cutting Lofton, and before Lofton caught it, a foul is called.
Well, again, I think this is Chris Jans' impulse now. So let's get our leading scorer going by getting him to the free throw line. So let's see if Zach Lofton can get things started here.
Big year for Lofton, averaging 20 per game, a 78% free throw shooter. He's led the team in scoring. In 10 of the previous 11 he has played in. And he's 0 of 3 on free throws. Man. Big time scorer from St. Paul, Minnesota. And he now has 3 points. 35-30. 80 seconds left here in half one. Benson, a good catch and shoot guy, and he catches, shoots, and hits. Casey Benson, the Tempe native. He's played in some big environments at Oregon, played in the Final Four. So they shouldn't face him tonight.
No, I don't think he's intimidated.
Keon Jones steps out of bounds in front of the Grand Canyon bench. We were wondering early, Coach, how would Grand Canyon respond after losing a tough one Thursday, and this shows they've responded well.
Well, that's right. It's just a brutal travel, trip to travel on, but you wouldn't know it from watching Grand Canyon tonight.
Jones fouled by Vernon, and for Vernon, that is number 2. So 2 on Vernon, 2 on Freyer, 2 on Milstead, 2 on Sankare, and 2 on Laver. A lot of guys in foul trouble for GCU.
State, number 10, Jones,
Jones a 53% foul shooter. 2 shots here. Sankare back in for GCU. Jamario Jones already has a double-double. He has 14 points, 10 rebounds, his 15th double-double this year.
The double-double by halftime is a pretty impressive stat, isn't it?
And it's been consistent for him.
Yes. Yeah.
Harris fouls Benson well away from the hoop, and that's going to give Casey Benson one of the bonus, number 9 on the Aggies. Christians doesn't like it. First-year Aggie head coach, 21-3.
Well, let's watch. Well,
it is what it is, right?
That's right. We'll give Rick Randall the benefit of the doubt there. He had a better angle than we do there.
Benson, a really cool story. His older brother TJ is an assistant for Grand Canyon. He graduates 3 years at Oregon. He's available immediately because he already graduated, so he gets to play right away at Grand Canyon his final year, and here his hometown of Tempe. He's had a really, really good collegiate career between Oregon and Grand Canyon.
To say the least.
Big boost for Dan Marley this year. 8-second difference, game clock, shot clock. Lofton posting up Adu. Lofton floats it in.
Well, again, I think Chris Jans is doing exactly the right thing by getting the ball inside to Lofton, just try to get his leading scorer going.
And now Dan Marley calls a timeout. He wants to draw something up. 2 really good head coaches, by the way, tonight. Chris Jans, who worked under Greg Marshall for so many years under that powerhouse in Wichita State. Then you have Dan Marley, who plays 14 years in the NBA. Now he's been a great head coach at Grand Canyon.
That's right, and 2 very different paths. You know, if you look at where Chris Jans is coached, they're some of the most obscure schools you've ever heard of. And but he was successful everywhere he went. He just really came up the hard way. With Dan Marley, he was on the Dream Team and Olympic teams, and that kind of gold medal in the Olympics and NBA All-Star, and just so it's two very different backgrounds.
Both head coaches with very talented staffs as well. Good recruiters, good X's and O's guys. For NM State, Lou Godino's the associate head coach. For Grand Canyon, it's Todd Lee, a former head coach at Division II Kentucky Wesleyan, a powerhouse at D2.
Yeah, nationally known assistant Todd Lee. Everybody knows Todd Lee in the game of basketball. And Lou Godino, one of the best up-and-coming young assistants. There's Lou Godino.
Casey Benson to Martin. Big half for Freyer. Steps back on Lofton. Good defense. Jamario Jones from beyond half court. No good. 1.5 basketball. Sold out crowd in Las Cruces, and it's Grand Canyon with the 6-point advantage at halftime. 40-34. Halftime is next. Phoenix, this is a 6-point game. Now back in January, Grand Canyon went ice cold in the second stanza. They only scored 22 points. We'll see how things go here in the second stanza in Las Cruces tonight.
Well, in a game where everything seems to have been topsy-turvy, for this season, Grand Canyon has not played as well in the second half. And let's see if they can get that turned around tonight. They're gonna beat the Aggies in the Pan American Center in front of a sold-out crowd.
And the Aggies, who had the ball first in this half, could use a big second half from star scorer Zach Lofton. The Aggies go with their 5 starters. Wilkins. He's bumped. Laver immediately picks up his 3rd. We have not seen this talented freshman from Italy very much tonight because of foul trouble.
No, and just kind of got caught there. And I think, it looked like the Aggies might run something for Lofton to start the second half, but instead they went to Wilkins, and I think that was very deliberate too.
Wilkins has only attempted 16 free throws now this year. He is 8 of 16. A good shooter out of France, a redshirt senior.
I've heard so many good things about Alessandro Laver that I wish they would. Let's just give him an extra foul because I want to watch him play tonight.
Endier for 3. NM State 1 of 9 on triples. On Thursday they were 10 of 39 from 3. And it's Frayer again. They're going to say this is a 2, but they're going to check the monitor. They're going to check the monitor at the next timeout.
Well, that was City Endier missing a wide open shot and then not being able to find Frayer on the defensive end.
Rick Randall, the veteran official, pointed to the scores table as he ran by and said, we'll check that next opportunity.
But City Endier couldn't get back and find a very rare defensive mistake. He's often a very good defender.
Here comes Frayer, 18 for the sophomore from Oakland. Lofton has it stolen away. Per usual, Chris Jans is letting his team play through some trouble here. No timeouts.
Yes, and it's a very different philosophy, sort of more of a Phil Jackson kind of philosophy. Let them figure it out themselves. Don't look at me. Well, that's a gutsy call by Rich Hartzell, the veteran official. Because A.J. Harris seemed to have bumped Casey Benson to knock him into the back, but there wasn't a whistle at first, and he couldn't overrule himself and make a late whistle, I guess.
A minute 30 in, half 2. Aggies trailing by 9. Biggest lead for Grand Canyon. A.J. Harris just screamed to his teammates and said, let's go. Wilkins on Laver, who has 3 personals, and he spins in the hook.
Well, John Wilkins has the right idea. Let's go after the guy who's got 3 fouls. That cuts it to 7. There's plenty of time tonight.
And now the Wolves go to Laver on offense. He has 4 points in 10 minutes today. And he'll go to the free throw line for 2.
Well, I guess the referees felt that John Wilkins sort of bumped him out of the air a little bit. I think that was the right call. I think if John would have stood his ground there, he would have been perfectly fine.
Laver has led Grand Canyon in scoring in 5 of the previous 7. He had 22 at UTRGV Thursday. And this is a guy who was highly touted out of Italy. And he is 1 of 7 international players on Dan Marley's roster this year.
Yeah. He's got a beautiful release, really just perfect release for a big fella. It's impressive, nice backspin.
Wilkins took a seat during the free throws. Chua's in. Wilkins now has 3 personals as well. Jamario Jones from the foul line. Usually doesn't shoot that. This time he does.
Well, either Lofton or Jamario Jones is going to have to get the Aggies going here.
Benson, high post for Vernon, who had a really good first half. Hand off to Benson. Low post Laver. Smooth big man.
Yeah, really well executed play there. Casey Benson took the handoff and made the exact right pass.
Harris fights his way up and he gets fouled. If Grand Canyon can hang on here tonight, this would be a monster win for them that could really jolt them going forward, because they've struggled a little bit lately.
Well, that's right. Watch AJ. This is one of the things AJ Harris does so well is he really elevates when he gets at the basket. Couldn't get it in there. I think that's right. If Grand Canyon wins tonight, the Aggies still have to go to Utah Valley.
They do next Thursday. NM State has been winning their league games by an average of 22 per game. Nobody's been within single digits of New Mexico State yet in conference. Crowd really hasn't been into it big time yet. They haven't been on their feet. There hasn't been a ton to cheer about on the NM State side. 3 minutes in, second half. Lever will shoot threes. He's attempted 46 this year. Benson lost it. Reach and foul in NM State. Christian's irate. And that's a big one. That's on Eli Chua. That is his third as well. So he's in foul trouble for the second straight game.
Well, that wasn't quite the right angle. We'd have to look at. We'll just have to take their word for it this time, Adam.
Players had a big evening. Lever pick and pop. Lever with 11 in just 13 minutes. McCants wants it. Lever has 3 personals, remember. McCants going right after him. And there's the fourth on Alessandro Lever. Remember the time, 16:33. And he's going to have to sit for a while.
Well, I think I will say it's been consistent each time. He's bumping Johnny McCants out of the air too.
And Lever was really starting to get in a groove offensively too. McCants a 46% free throw shooter. The Aggies, the worst free throw shooting team in the conference at 66%.
Well, every free throw is going to be important tonight, I suspect.
Lever's still in. We'll get a jump ball. Possession goes to Grand Canyon. Nobody's at the scorer's table, so Dan Marley is going to let his freshman play through 4 personals with 16 plus left in the game.
Yes, and I think it's a gutsy move by Dan Marley, and it'll either pay off or it won't. I think he's trusting that. Well, it's paid off so far.
He's been really good offensively. What do we know? Dan Marley's an NBA All-Star, but he's letting him play through it. Harris rings out the 3. A foul is called on Lever. He's done, and he's going to be teed up here. He's been teed up. Alessandro Lever with a technical.
Let's watch the replay. You know, he doesn't want to make things worse and get another technical. Well, he stuck an elbow right in his chin. I don't know what else you would call that if that's not a foul. And I think Dan Marley was daring the officials to have the guts to foul him out, and I think he elbowed him right into the chin. I don't know what else you could call that. It couldn't be a foul on Johnny McCants' chin.
Dan Marley still talking to veteran official Rick Hartzell, who has worked 21 NCAA tournaments. Those two continue to have a word. Chris Jans will have Zach Lofton shoot the technical free throws. Lofton has struggled on free throws, 1 of 4 tonight. For the year, he's 78% though. He's the best guy to shoot them.
Let's see if we can look at this again, Adam. I wonder if we could run that back and watch the play that gets Alessandro Lever fouled out of the game. Here it comes. You can see him down low. He hits him right in the throat. I don't know what else you would call it.
And you know what? I think maybe Laver is still frustrated about some earlier fouls too, and that kind of boiled on him.
Well, I don't want to pick on him. I think he's going to be a great player. And
here's McCants, ripped away by Grand Canyon.
Well, the one thing Johnny McCants doesn't want to do is get overexcited and start dribbling.
Freyer fouled on his way up by City Endier. And this will take us to a media. If it wasn't a rivalry yet, things are heating up a little more at the Pan Am. The lead is 11 right now for Grand Canyon. It was 10 before the break, but they checked a shot from earlier in the half by Oscar Freyer. They changed it from a 2 to a 3, so it's an 11-point Lopes lead here tonight. Well, Coach, we have seen everything. We just saw somebody foul out with 16 minutes left in the game. Big crowd. What do you see in the final 16?
Well, anything can happen, but Grand Canyon is still up 11. And Laver was frustrated. And I think one of the things that happens is, especially with foreign players, they have to adjust to a different whistle. And I know, I coach in Ireland, a very low level. They're nowhere near as good as the Italian league, but players have to learn to adjust, and you adjust to different referees. And by the same token, the Aggies are going to have to adjust to the problems they've had so far.
But you're surprised, I'm sure, that Laver was still in with 4 with 16 minutes left.
Well,
right?
It was a roll of the dice by Dan Marley, and it appeared to pay off. I mean, Laver leaves the game with 5 baskets in 14. He had 13 points in 14 minutes. I mean, he was pretty effective, and I think he was daring the officials to put him out of the game. Meanwhile, Freyer is sort of the storyline. He's got 20 points.
New career high for Oscar Freyer. Previous career high was 19 against Norfolk State. That was earlier this season. Lofton battling on Freyer. Here you go.
Well, a little step back a la Michael Jordan there.
Harris has been all over Casey Benson tonight in the backcourt and the front courts. 2 high post set for Grand Canyon. Benson to Freyer. What a night from him. Here's Vernon with 7. Vernon on the fade. A really tough shot. Jamario Jones, his 13th rebound. Ahead for McCants. Underneath. Fighting for positioning, found an angle and scored.
Well, talk about rolling the dice and gambling. I did not think Jamario Jones should have threw that pass. I did not think that Johnny McCants should have shot it. But I've been wrong so many times tonight, and the crowd is it's deafening here now, Adam.
Here comes the crowd in a sold-out Pan Am Center. Freyer rises up for 3. And then state possession.
And it's deafening here. Everyone's on their feet, but it's still a 9-point lead for Grand Canyon. The Aggies still have to dig themselves out. Look at this pass, risky pass by Jamario Jones, and McCants makes the most of it.
McCants looking for Lofton. Lofton really wants it. He's posting up in the arc. Jamario Jones, we'll see if he attacks here. He does. Lays it in.
But Freyer is really doing a number on Zach Lofton.
Freyer working on Lofton. But first a foul on Zach Lofton. And for Zach, that is his first today. He's one of the few who's not in foul trouble.
Well, he's got the arm bar, which they allow now on the hip, but he pushes off as Freyer goes up. I'm so impressed by this Oscar Freyer. This is a serious Grand Canyon team, and I think, boy, if they were stock, I'd buy all the stock I could in Grand Canyon.
17 wins, only 8 losses this year for Grand Canyon. 6-3 in the WAC. Haven't really peaked yet, though, as Buchanan reaches in on Freyer. And Grand Canyon has not scored in almost 2.5 minutes. Aggies had drawn within 7 after trailing by as many as 13 about 3 minutes ago. This is a 6-0 Aggie run here. Sankare to Braun. A really quiet night for the redshirt senior Braun. Benson on the curl.
Well, Sean Buchanan bailed the Aggies out there. Jamario Jones couldn't quite get a hold of it, but Buchanan got it on the bounce.
City Indy on the catch on the wing. Jamario Jones having a great night offensively. One of his best all year. Lofton catch and shoots. Vernon running the floor. Not the guy you want to handle it. Lofton looking up. He almost lost it. Now he does. Benson strips it away. Poked away to the Aggies.
I don't know if I can take any more of this. My heart can't take it, Adam. But it's gotten to be quite. It's gotten a little bit messy here, but not through lack of effort.
Lofton on the baseline, reversal, spins home.
Well, Lofton just relentless in his willingness to go at the basket.
Timeout, Dan Marley. Let the crowd take you to break here in Las Cruces. Back with you here at the P&M Center, 56-51. The Aggies on an 8-0 run of the previous 257 to draw within a handful of Grand Canyon. What a crowd tonight, a sellout at the P&M Center. Capacity now listed at 12,575. It's changed over the years, so here are some of the best crowds all time. And, well, Coach, you see the theme, the rivalry games, and then all of a sudden, this one here against Grand Canyon. How about that 79 game? That was Larry Bird, right?
That's right. And, yeah, it's like a lot of the games you're seeing here, you can sort of throw out expectations and predictions and my keys to the game. You can throw out my keys to the game, too. But, yeah, just unbelievable atmosphere here tonight. Aggies still down 5. Grand Canyon's still in control, but you can feel the momentum shifting a little bit before the break. Let's see what happens here.
Matt Jackson in for the first time for Grand Canyon. Braun head of the key. Braun only has 3. Here's Jackson, the redshirt junior from Australia. Out of Benson, 5 to shoot for Casey. Benson, right-handed floater. He's a left-hander. Vernon had it, and then Lofton pulled it away. Lofton working on Martin. Benson to Braun. He got City in the air. Braun is stepped back beyond the foul line, and a foul was called. I think it's on the shot. It is. This one goes on Jamario Jones, his second, and we'll break again. Under 12 media. It's a tight one out. Adam Young and the coach, Coach Bradford. 5-point game in Las Cruces. Great crowd, great atmosphere. If you're Chris Giants, the Aggie head coach right now, what are you telling your team?
Well, the stat that keeps jumping out at me, the Aggies have 3 assists after 3/4 of the game have been played, and that's very unusual for Chris Giants' team. They always share the ball. They always do it together. And I'm a little bit concerned that, and I think he should be too, that there's a little too much, I'll do this by myself, everybody get out of my way. And it's not just Zach Lofton. I think they're taking turns a little bit going one-on-one. And I don't know if it's out of selfishness so much as Grand Canyon plays very good defense. Sorry, there's a long
for Josh Braun upcoming.
There's a long walk there. Sorry, long walk for a short drink of water, but that's how I feel.
I like it. Braun second, switched it in. Quiet day for Braun, he has 4. He only scored 4 on Thursday at UTRGV. He averages a team-high 13 per night. Lead up to 7 for Grand Canyon on the road, looking for their 18th win. Lofton, no good. Tip is no good. Jones right there. Jamario Jones has 21.
And I have a Josh Braun theory, if you want to hear it, Adam. I think as good as Casey Benson is, when they had it was a Dwayne Russell that they had that was so fast, and I think that to have a penetrator on the floor really helps Josh Braun. I think Casey Benson is a thinker and a really smart player, but he's not as fast going to the basket as Dwayne Russell was.
Vernon, high arcing floater, pinballs out to Lofton.
That's my theory anyway, but you know, I've got a lot of harebrained theories that have been disproven tonight.
And Deere gets a ball screen from McCants. It's been the Jamario Jones show tonight with 21 and 14. He's 9 of 16 shooting. McCants spins, no call, shot no good. Endier tried the tip. Johnny still has it, can't put it in, and Jared Martin collects.
Wow, it's getting pretty physical there. And the Aggies don't need to panic. There's still plenty of time left.
No field goals in 6 minutes for the Lopes in purple. Foul on Buchanan on the way to the rim for Benson.
Well, this is where Casey Benson is so smart. Again, he's been on a couple Pac-10 championship teams, been to the Final Four. You don't get there without being a smart player. Watch him just he's got the wide open shot at the basket.
Benson from Tempe, Arizona. One on the bonus. That was the 7th on the Aggies. And Benson pinballs it out.
Well, the Aggies got a break there. You won't see Casey Benson miss many big free throws.
Lead was 6 for Grand Canyon at the half. It is 5 right now. Aggies can make it a one-possession game here. Jones wants it. The senior from Memphis spins on Jackson. Stays patient. Follows this miss. Martin fell down and he got it to Braun.
Boy, Jared Martin given some big minutes there. He's rugged and tough.
Braun with a good look. He got it.
Well, and that is a bad sign. If Josh Braun heats up, the Aggies are really going to be in trouble.
Career 3, 252 for the redshirt senior from Anthem, Arizona. Endier using his left. Grabbed by Jaron Martin and Grand Canyon.
The Aggies at about 35% now for the night, and it's going to be tough to win big games shooting 35%.
And the Aggies only shot 34% Thursday. So they've been off for 2 straight games. Buchanan gets the Braun miss. An 8-point game, 8:35 left. Sold out crowd, Pan Am Center in Las Cruces. The Aggies have won 45 of their previous 46 conference home games. Only one conference home loss since January 2012 for the Aggies. That loss was against Nevada. A team that is no longer in the WAC. Martin for 3. Air ball. Jones running the break. Around 3 purple jerseys, a blocking foul. And Jamario will get a pair.
Well, even that one made me nervous, Adam. That was one on 3 bay. It wasn't a terrible shot, but he certainly didn't have numbers.
Jones has his 15th double-double this year. 21 points, 15 rebounds. And JJ, the senior from Memphis, will shoot 2 when we come back.
Xfinity X1 gives you access.
From Memphis, will shoot 2 when we come back. A lot of Grand Canyon fans making the short drive from Phoenix. Lopes lead by 8, 12 minutes in, second half. Adam Young, Coach Brad Bird with you, and the Aggies in a scoreless round of 3 minutes and 20 seconds right now. A big difference, Coach, has been 3-point shooting. NM State has only made 1 3. Grand Canyon's 8 of 20, and Oscar Freya has been a big part of that.
That's right, and now that was the last one. Josh Braun's was their 9th. So that put them at 9 3-pointers for the night. The Aggies just have not been able to shoot the ball well. And credit Grand Canyon's defense. There hasn't been many easy looks for the Aggies, particularly for Zach Lofton, who's 4 for 16 and 0 for 5 from the 3 tonight.
And you said before the break when Braun hit that 3, his second tonight, because if Braun gets going, that could be trouble for NM State.
That's right. The Aggies were lucky he missed his next one.
Jones is right at his season high of 21. He's tied it. Checked that. His previous season high was 19. So he's at his season high right now of 21. And he misfires on both free throws. Now Grand Canyon has gone pretty cold as well. They have missed 7 of their previous 8 shots. Underneath Vernon, who maneuvered in midair.
Wow, really powerful move by Kenta Vernon, and also just body control.
Mario Jones again, using his length. Jackson out of bounds. It'll stay with NM State.
Well, Matt Jackson did the right thing, but he just had his heels on the line.
We've only had 2 ties, 2 lead changes today. Aggies have led by as many as 7 early. There's Jones again as he pinballs it in. 23 for Jamario. And that breaks a scoreless drought of almost 4 minutes for the Aggies. Lopes have led by as many as 13. They lead by 8. Braun gets a ball screen from Jackson. Jones with 16 boards.
Boy, that looked good from Josh Braun. He may be back here.
Jamario doing everything he can right now. +1.
Watch Jamario Jones. It scares me a little bit. The Aggies have 3 assists for the night. And I do think they're at their best when they share the ball, and it's just a sign of how competitive they are. They're sort of just trying so hard.
First, we get a lane violation. Jamario missed it anyway, but I think it was on City Endier. A lane violation for NM State. So the Aggies only get 2 out of it. 2-possession game. Chris Jansen and the Aggies trying to go to 22-3, 9-0 in the WAC with a win. They need to come from behind tonight. The Aggies are 92-8 in their previous 100 home games. This has been a house of horrors for opponents. Damari Milstead, the freshman from Hayward, California, has not played much in this game. Big contact down low, and this one goes on Josh Braun. As he fouled City Endier.
It is so physical in there. And watch how physical it gets in there. But to both teams' credit, it's not dirty play. It's just 2 teams playing very hard, trying to get an advantage. And there's no
Ooh. They probably should check that at the monitor. That could have been a flagrant, coach.
It could have been. I don't know that Braun did it on purpose there. I think, but we'll have to look at it again. I'm sitting here defending the honor of Grand Canyon. Maybe we should look at it again. But I do think there's no near fights. There's no pushing and shoving. It's just good hard basketball to my experience.
Wilkins to Harris, under 10 to shoot. Wilkins wants it. Slips, picked up. Jamario Jones sneaks in, scores again. Wow! How about this?
4-point game.
Wilkins fouls Vernon.
Well, maybe not the worst foul. Watch Jamario here sort of sneak it in. How did he do that?
Larry 3 of 6 now on free throws.
Yeah, just enough. Tulare, California, as we see Dan Marley. I know what Dan Marley's saying to Josh Braun. He's telling him, shoot it again if you get an open look. I'll bet anything that's what he's telling him.
Jonathan Wilkins will stay in. He just picked up his 4th. Lofton back in for NM State. Lofton, who averages 20, only has 11 tonight. Jamario Jones with 28 points and now 17 rebounds. And he has the ball right here. Harris from the wing. Harris attacks. Harris with the right hand, and Harris will shoot 2.
Well, I still want the Aggies to go back to sharing the ball and running their offense, and I think it's, again, a credit to Grand Canyon that they're not able to do it.
This 28-17 game so far for Jones, it's similar to what we saw a couple years ago from Pascal Siakam, but the difference is Jones is about 5 inches shorter, weighs about 40 less pounds,
yes,
plays totally different.
He's maybe the most exciting player in college basketball, and certainly the most interesting. How does a 6'4" guy get that many rebounds?
One possession game. Here comes the pressure. Offensive on Matt Jackson.
Well, again, that's been a point of emphasis this year, is you can't move on the screens or take a very wide stance in order to, and I'm not sure, I wonder about the wisdom of that, risking a foul that far from the basket.
12,000 plus screaming fans. This feels like the Roundhouse in Wichita, if you're comparing mid-major venues tonight. Harris for the tie. He got it! Braun leans into Lofton, no call. Jones pushing for NM State. The Aggies trying to take a lead here. 4.5 left. Lofton trying to post up Frayer, and he gets a foul call. That will send Zach Lofton to the free throw line for a pair.
Well, I'm unclear as to how many fouls Frayer has. He's not on the scoreboard.
That's Frayer's 3rd, Coach.
And there's A.J. Harris with a very big shot to tie the game for, seems like forever. Aggies take the lead.
An 11-1 run in the previous 3 minutes and change for Zach Lofton and the Aggies. A lead of 2 right now. And here comes the pressure again. Let's see how Grand Canyon handles it. They've been in some tough atmospheres the last couple of years. Benson, who played in the Final Four at Oregon, for Frayer on the wing. Frayer back to Benson in the lane with his right hand. Jones, another rebound.
Well, a little floater, that looked good to me. Casey Benson, he's ice water in his veins.
NM State has made 4 straight shots. Harris on a pull-up. Snatched in by Josh Braun. Vernon, low block against Wilkins. A brick.
I think there's a bit of a mirage here, Adam. I'm going to go on record here and saying the Aggies need to share the ball now. They've come back going one-on-one, but they're going to have to share the ball if they're going to beat this Grand Canyon team.
Lofton steps back, leans into Jackson, puts up a shot, no good. Jones had it, and then Grand Canyon rips it away. Here's Benson into the front court. Jackson for Braun from the elbow. He's a big-time performer.
Yeah, but it's very different at both ends. It's Grand Canyon trying to execute an offense, and the Aggies taking turns going one-on-one. I don't like to be critical, but they're going to have to start passing the ball and sharing the ball.
Blocking foul on Grand Canyon. They call it on Keontae Vernon. That is Vernon's fourth, and he's another in foul trouble for GCU. Harris free throws when we... A neat atmosphere tonight. Pan Am Center in Las Cruces. The Aggies trying to win their 11th in a row. And Jamario Jones doing all he can to get the Aggies that W. The senior has 27 points and 19 rebounds, and he's the big reason why the Aggies, after having a plus 25 rebound margin in the first meeting with Grand Canyon, they have a plus 17 rebound margin tonight, and that's been a big factor in this game.
That's right, and it's just a superhuman effort from Jamario Jones. It's again, he's so entertaining to watch, so smart around the basket. Dan Marley hasn't been able to figure out, they haven't been able to figure out Jamario Jones. Dan Marley just took his statistics sheet and crumpled it up, which I understand the impulse.
Adrian Harris shooting two. He's in double figures for the first time in 8 games. AJ has 11 tonight. Ohio State transfer, Dayton, Ohio native. Lead is at 1.
What's interesting, Aggies pressing here with the lead. And here is one cool customer, Casey Benson.
Benson brings GCU into the front court. Frayer has 20. Keon Jones guarding him. Braun to Benson. And AJ bumped him.
He's having all kinds of problems, AJ Harris, with Benson.
A lot of fouls in both halves. And that's number 9 on NM State, so one more would be the double bonus. GCU's already committed 10 plus. Bonus free throws for Benson.
Yeah, and the problem is this is a guy who's not going to be nervous shooting big free throws.
They get to no better than a Final Four, and Casey Benson played in one with Oregon. Only season at Grand Canyon for Benson, a senior.
But Aggie's got a big break there. You won't see that too often.
This is the 5th tie in this game. Aggies going with Harris, Keon Jones, Wilkins, Endear, and Jamario Jones. No Lofton right now. A foul away from the ball, and the Aggies will shoot 2. This has turned into a chess match and also a free throw match.
Well, and just like all the great games that have been played here at the Pan American Center, it's full of surprises. And that's a 5th foul on. I think that's the 5th foul on Vernon. It is.
Now Vernon's done. So the 2 starting big men for Grand Canyon, Vernon and Laver, have both fouled out. And Laver fouled out 14 minutes ago of game time. He fouled out 4 minutes into the half.
And these are certainly the biggest free throws of Keon Jones's Division I career.
He's only played 8 minutes off the bench tonight, and he nails Poe. 2.25 left. Lopes looking for the big upset. NM State trying to go to 22-3. Marley versus Jans. It doesn't get much better. Frayer can't connect. A foul again. And we'll see more free throws here. Can't get into any flow.
No, it's so hard fought. Every single play is a battle. Oscar Frayer may be the best sophomore we've seen this year. Could he be the best sophomore we've seen this year? The Oakland, California native.
21 now for Frayer, who only averages 9 per game. We've seen him shoot from 3, Coach. We've seen him leap. He has 9 rebounds.
He came out of the starting blocks just unbelievably well. And it looks like he's going to finish unbelievably well, too. Tie game with 2 minutes to go here.
The Aggies have not made a field goal in 3 minutes. The redshirt sophomore Harris, high arcing floater, gets his own miss and he tips it in.
Well, that's at 5'9" there. Again, just an unbelievable surprise. I think A.J. Harris maybe ought to back off Casey Benson and make sure he doesn't foul him here.
Freyer. He's fouled. He'll shoot 2. Grand Canyon has attempted 21 free throws. The Aggies have attempted 29 in the game.
Well, Grand Canyon shot 37 free throws at Texas Rio Grande Valley. And so I think it's difficult for them to complain about their refereeing on this road trip. I'm not suggesting that they are. But Oscar Freyer has just been just had a whale of a game for Grand Canyon.
And Freyer tonight is 4 of 4 on free throws, but for the season, he is a 51% free throw shooter. Dan Marley hoping he can stay hot. 2-point lead for the Aggies. 2 free throws coming up for Oscar Freyer, 6'7" sophomore from Oakland. I wouldn't wish this upon anybody shooting into the student section tonight.
Well, that's right. And another interesting move by Dan Marley. There's no Grand Canyon players to keep Oscar company there. Maybe they were sure he's going to make the second one, and he did.
95 seconds remaining, 1-point Aggie lead. Grand Canyon's led by as many as 13 in this game. Jackson corrals for Grand Canyon. Big possession here for Dan Marley's bunch.
Well, A.J. Harris missed the rim on that layup attempt. I think he was surprised to find the open path, but...
Freyer catch and shoots. Slips off. Jones with his 20th rebound. His 3rd straight 20-rebound game.
Now, the Aggies don't need to panic here now. They just need to take a good... That's what I like to see. There's old Chris Jans, who's twice as smart as the color analyst.
All right, Coach Bradford, put your coaching hat on here. 102 left, 71-70. Aggies by 1. You're in that huddle with Coach Jans. What are you drawing up, and who are you drawing up for?
I think I'm going to say they're going to try to go inside, possibly to Zach Lofton. I think just to get to the free throw line, to slow the game down a little bit again and keep things under control. But they'll come out and execute something. You know, it's a different philosophy. There are plenty of coaches who say just go try and get a good shot and don't force anything. But I think Jans will draw something up here. They've got 20 seconds on the clock. They could get the ball back, even if Grand Canyon comes down and runs 35 seconds off the clock. The Aggies could get the ball back, so the Aggies should get 2 possessions here if they can get a shot up before the 20 seconds elapses. Help me with the math there, Adam. Will they get the ball? They'll get the ball back, won't they?
The Aggies and Lopes both in double bonus right now. 2 timeouts left for Dan Marley. 2 timeouts left for Chris Jans.
But I suspect they'll go to Lofton, and maybe a back door to Lofton. Let's see.
Chris Jans, one of the best X's and O's coaches in America. Let's see what he draws up here. Harris gets a ball screen from Jones. He goes away from it. He rolls around. Grand Canyon wanted to travel. The Aggies will get a timeout.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I'm going as much hair as I've lost over the years. I think I've lost more hair tonight. I don't see how Chris Jans does it. But yeah, A.J. Harris takes a tumble, still has the wherewithal to take a timeout. And a heads up, a gutsy call by the official gives him the timeout.
So 1 timeout left for the Aggies with the ball.
Watch him, he appears to maybe have a clear, crosses over, but slips, doesn't get pushed at all. Casey Benson plays it perfectly. And he's yelling timeout we can't see him yelling timeout, but on the other angle we could see him yelling timeout as soon as he hit the deck.
Well, we'll see if the Aggies can hang on for the 2nd straight game when they don't shoot above 40%. The Aggies shot 34% Thursday and won. They're shooting 37% here tonight.
Now they've had trouble getting the ball in tonight. Remember, there's a violation, a 5-second violation as well.
How about this? Keon Jones, who hasn't played much, is in late. Jones to the rim, sends it up, no good. Rebound, Jared Martin. 12-second difference, game clock, shot clock. Dan Marley doesn't use a timeout yet. Braun for 3.
Pass the ball.
Lofton fouled by Benson. He will shoot two. Both teams, remember, in the double bonus right now with 22 seconds left.
Well, I like Keon Jones's guts there. You know, he hasn't played a lot of minutes, but he's a scorer. He's got the reputation as a scorer, and he had no fear of taking that shot with 7 seconds on the shot clock. He was a little bit off balance, and there's Zach Lofton with a big rebound.
Lofton 5 of 8 on free throws. Make it 6 of 9. He's a 78% free throw shooter. Best on the team.
Well, I don't want to get a bunch of Dan Marley, by the way, saying he wants a timeout if they make it.
And this is night for Lofton with just 14.
And this is not at all over if he does make it. There's so many good three-point shooters on the Grand Canyon team. They want timeout.
Well, here's the theory. You go after the 2 right away, maybe a 3 if you have a good look. So far tonight, Grand Canyon shot it really, really well from 3.
I'll bet you a burrito that they'll go for the 3, because I just think this is a team that has shot 200 more three-pointers than their opponents this year. I'd be stunned if they don't put up a 3. And the Aggies have to be careful not to foul a three-point shooter. If they do make a 3, it's not the end of the world. They go into overtime.
And I'll take this a step further. You think Benson attacks? If Benson has a deuce, he takes it. If not, he kicks out to Braun or Frayer.
I think if it's an easy layup, he might take it. But the danger is, I think, for the Aggies, for a hyper Aggie team with a sellout crowd, craziness, as loud as I've ever heard it here. The danger is that somebody jumps the gun and fouls a three-point shooter.
Grand Canyon has not made a field goal in 3 minutes. They're three-point shooters today. Braun is 2 of 9. Frayer 4 of 5. He's had a great evening. Benson 1 of 4. Milstead 1 of 1. Blumberg's 0 of 1. Right now, Grand Canyon has Jackson, who can shoot threes. Braun, Frayer, Benson, and Jared Martin, who's also a shooter. 5 shooters on the floor for GCU.
Well, all right, I'm going to make a prediction. It's going to be Frayer shooting the 3, because he'll be able to go up over somebody, which some of the other Grand Canyon guys won't do as effectively.
Benson to Braun for 3 for the time. Too strong. Frayer, he'll get a look. A 2 or a 3. It's short, it doesn't matter. Saved by Benson, but it goes to the Aggies. He stepped out.
Unbelievable. What guts Josh Braun has.
A.J. Harris just darted to his head coach, Chris Jans, for the play call. Now I think the Frayer shot was going to be a 2 anyway. His toes appear to be on the line.
What courage by Josh Braun, who struggled tonight. He struggled the last few games. He's fearless putting that up. You have to admire it. Nearly went in.
Harris fouled immediately by Benson. 2.3 left. If Harris makes both, or really even if he makes one, the Aggies could seal it.
Yeah, and this could all be very different in Las Vegas in a few weeks. What a game, Adam. Incredible game.
The only team that has challenged the Aggies so far in conference. Nobody has played the Aggies to single figures. Grand Canyon has 1 timeout remaining if they want to use it. 2.3 left. Big free throw for Harris. Timeout, Dan Marley. Well, now, Coach, when they enter it, you get the heck out of the way, right?
That's right. And Chris Jans waving the crowd to their feet. But I have to say, there's 1,000 people here from Phoenix. There's an awful lot of purple here for it being a Pan American Center. What an incredible atmosphere, Adam. And I think at this point, the main thing for the Aggies is do not foul. Do not foul at this point. And if they do, if they do get the ball after the basket is scored, just to throw it down the court. Don't try to inbound the ball 5 feet, but get it past half court on the inbounds pass. You don't want to give that Grand Canyon a chance for a second quick shot. And what a game from Jamario Jones with 19 rebounds, 27 points and 19 rebounds.
McCann bats it away, and that will do it. NM State victorious.
Unbelievable.
74-70, the final, in front of a sellout crowd at the Pan-Am Center. And there's a couple home games remaining. I'm sure the Aggies would love to see 75% of these fans at the next home game.
Oh, I'd say there will be. It's been an incredible year, and it's a really fun team to watch. It could all change in Las Vegas. This isn't the league championship. It's just a big win for the Aggies. As we see Dan Marley waved to boy, they've got terrific fans at Grand Canyon. They came, they were as loud as could be, considering that they just had a small percentage of the crowd, but impressive following from the Grand Canyon people too.
Jamario Jones ends up with 27 points and 20 rebounds. 3 straight games, Coach, with 20 rebounds for the 6'5" senior Jamario Jones.
It's unbelievable what he's been able to do. Just really an amazing player. We can't say enough about him. Somehow Chris Jans, who usually comes over immediately, has been swept away in the end of the game's emotions. Here he comes right now. Here's Chris Jans.
Grand Canyon went the final 309 without a field goal. Look at those guys. That's pretty cool.
This ball's all about right there, man. I mean, wow, what a comeback. What a comeback. We talked about we'd been here before. It's been a long time since we had to come from behind to win a game, but we've got 3 or 4 of those early in the season, and that's all we kept talking about is we've been there, done that, and stay together and keep fighting and just get enough stops, and I think we'll score enough baskets. Unfortunately, we did.
Coach, let's start with the crowd and the role they played tonight.
We wouldn't have won it without them. I mean, I don't think we would have. I mean, that energy that was in the building, you know, obviously I haven't been here when it was back in the day, and I hear a lot about it, and certainly, you know, this Pan Am is a historical building here, and you hear a lot of stories about the fans and how it used to be packed, and I was excited to be a part of it to kind of get a sense of the history of this place. And again, if these fans don't come out and support us tonight, it'll be a really hard time for us to win without that energy. So I really thank all of them for doing that.
Jamario Jones was not going to let you lose this game. 27 and 20, 3 straight games now with 20 rebounds for Jamario.
I mean, I don't have enough superlatives to describe him. I mean, he just competes. I mean, he's just a competitor. That's who he is. That's what he is. You know, every day in practice, if there's not a winner and loser, he don't play very hard, you know. Yeah. So I've got to adjust and make sure we have a winner and loser every time. Otherwise, he's going to go through the motions because his competitive desire is as strong as any human being I've ever been around.
Coach, I love your confidence in your team and your guys. Keon Jones, who only plays 9 minutes tonight, is in the game late, takes a big shot late as well.
You know, he was playing well, and he was defending. That's why he stayed in the game. Is he was taking on the challenge of guarding Freyer, and I thought he was really engaged, and that's why he earned those minutes. And you know, he took a big shot. It didn't go for him. He made a big 3 that I thought we really needed. We were struggling. He made that big 3, which really helped us.
This is what it's all about, right?
This is what college basketball is all about. I mean, we needed this. We needed this. We hadn't had a close game in a long time, and certainly I would have liked to have won by more, but at the same time, I think this is really going to help us refocus. We got 2 tough road games next week. I envision our practices to be even better because of the scare that we got tonight, but I'm really proud of my guys, the way they battled back and kept fighting, and it's a heck of a win for us.
Coach, congrats.
Thanks,
heck of an atmosphere, heck of a win.
That was awesome. Thanks.
First-year head coach Chris Jans, Aggies victorious. They hold Grand Canyon to no field goals in the final 309. 74-70 the final. Coach and I recap it after this.